Okay, friends, I want to share with you an original idea on the Parsha that occurred to me this year. If you don't get our emails, please go to our site, rabbidg.com, and you just hit the subscribe button, and you will get our emails. Now, this is this week's email. As you see, this coming Matzah Shabbos is our annual campaign. The link is charity.com/MMH. CHARIDY.com/MMH. And if you'd like to be mishtatev, you could use this link. If you'd like to be set up a team page or be an ambassador for your community, if you live in Los Angeles, if you live in Florida, if you live in Toronto, if you live in Panama, if you live in Johannesburg, if you live in Melbourne, if you live in Sydney, and you would like to be your community's ambassador, that would be a great form of Harbatzas Hatorah. We'd really appreciate that. I want to share with you a new idea on the Parsha. When Klal Yisrael is about to encounter Edom, this is this week's Machon Maggid Harakiah. We spoke out these Divrei Torah last year. They were edited this year, but I want to add a new piece that I just added this year. When Klal Yisrael were approaching Edom, so they sent a message to Esav. Koyamar achicha Yisrael, ata yadati yizkal ta'ashala Hashem mitzvasnu. And we went down to Mitzrayim. Vanitzak al Hashem, vayishma koilenu, vayishlach Malach, vayotzienu mi Mitzrayim, v'hine anachnu b'kadesh ir k'tzei gvulecha. Klal Yisrael tells Edom, they tell their cousins, the descendants of Esav, the story of how we were in Egypt and we cried out to Hashem, and Hashem listened to our voice. And how did He redeem us? He sent Malachim. He sent a Malach. God redeemed us by sending a Malach. So Rashi says, what? God sent a Malach? Says Rashi, who's the Malach? Moshe. So I have one simple question for you. That's great. You want to call Moshe a Malach? That's great. Could somebody tell me where else in the Chumash is Moshe called a Malach? Very good. Nowhere. Moshe Rabbeinu is never called a Malach. Could somebody tell me why the Torah chooses this juncture to call Moshe a Malach? He wasn't called, you know how Moshe's name appears 613 times or so in the Chumash. Every time he's referred to, he's called Moshe. But when we're talking to Esav, he's called a Malach. Why does the Torah choose this juncture to call Moshe a Malach? You know why? Because they're talking to Esav. And when you're talking to the enemy, they only know one language: fear. And we know Esav was a formidable foe. There's only one thing that we know Esav is afraid of. He's afraid of a Malach. Because the last time a Malach was sent to him, the Malach beat up his 400 men, and Esav, who was coming with his swagger, ended up turning into a pussycat and kissing Yaakov Avinu. So if there's one thing in this world that scares Esav, it's a Malach. So Klal Yisrael, I think, are subconsciously sending a message to Esav. Hey, Esav, we were in the most powerful country in the world, and no one ever got out. So Esav says, how did you get out? Oh, Hashem sent a Malach. A Malach? Yeah, our Moshe is like an angel. Is he still around? So Esav got the bulletin. Moshe is the one who sent the message. So they still have the Malach. So I would suggest that the reason why in this juncture Moshe is referred to as a Malach is because if there's anything that scares the living daylights out of an Esav, it's the Malach. So we see that Esav was already used to being beaten by the Malach. So, and by the way, so in order to frighten him, that we still have the koyach of a Malach, I believe that's the reason why this was mentioned. Vayishlach Malach.